Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. We've got another double replay for you, this time featuring the Cromwell B, which is the Tier 6 British Premium Medium Tank. And it's located on the south spawn of Redshire to start with, and it's under the command of my Sakurajima. Game on. Well, the Cromwell B is basically identical to the standard ordinary Cromwell, but with the top gun. Of course, because this is premium, you only come with one gun, a 75mm. And that gun is capable of doing 135 alpha, penetrating 145mm with standard ammo, and with the premium rounds that goes up to 202, so it has considerable penetration at tier 6. Now he's loaded the premium ammo straight away because he's headed over to the Zeppelin, and I think he's going to do a quick scouting run right down in this direction to spot the enemy early on. He's gone up to this little heights where you can spot the enemy, and it's very difficult to be shot at, but if you back up like that you will get shot at, because there is a spot up there. Yeah, that Firefly spotted you and he can see you even if the others can't. And also you can be shot from that little alleyway where the other tank destroyers go, so not a good spot to be in. So long as you're behind the actual screen of the Zeppelin, you're okay. If you try to come down from that spot, you better do so quickly, because otherwise you're going to start receiving fire. And an FL-10, the M4 variant with the AMX-13 turret, managed to get 3 shots into him. So he's going back up, but he's actually going to that spot with the bush, and it looks like the T-34-85M wants it as well. And mine's let him go in there. In the meantime, he's going to take a position just here and try and shoot at some of the ones that the T-34-85 goes for. The enemy's more than likely going to respond, but which one they go for, I don't know. They'll probably go for the T-34-85M, because they'll see his flash and moves over, because the T-34-85M doesn't see anything to shoot at, but there are some targets to shoot at now, and Mai's seen that. In fact, there's an ELC. He just got tracked, and he's repaired it, his repair kit, so he's not going to be doing that again for a while. And he got one shot into the guy, but that's it. The guy quickly escaped because he realised he was in trouble. That Nashorn is just gone. There's the T-34-85M. I can pen the turret with that 75mm. And took it around from the 25 TP. That's the one we saw earlier. And but he actually took out the driver on the T-34-85M, which is surprising. The shell appeared to hit the turret. There's that FL-10. He's hiding. Can he get a shot? There he is. Oh, and unfortunately, yes, he is an autoloader, so he's pumped one in. Don't really want to pop up. It wasn't a wise decision to pop up, because the whole hull had to come over that rise in order to get a shot. But if he does it here, he won't have to pull the whole thing up, and in fact actually they're helping him, and so is the ground. But he's only got a corner of the vehicle to work with. He hit the tracks there. Okay, you can see where one of the shells actually went through the turret and another one went through the hull. Well, what can we say about the Cromwell? I've actually said that you can wax lyrical about the Cromwell for a long time, because a lot of British tanks are actually named Cromwell, although they weren't the Cromwell that we know in the game. In fact, one of the types or variants of the Cromwell was the Centaur, which is actually armed with a 95mm gun, if I remember correctly. It was actually supposed to be able to knock down bunkers and the like. So it's firing HE, much like a poor man's KV-2, you might say. Although it was a medium tank, and it was a heavy medium tank, so it wasn't quite as fast as the Cromwell and the Cromwell B. The Cromwell B is actually the variant that was actually seen, commanded by the Desert Rats in the Victory Parade in Berlin. These are the tanks that actually fought all the way across the desert and then across Europe. Just got a nice kill on the Valiant right through the side of the vehicle. Easy to pen with these rounds because, of course, he's using premium. And now he's got a Panzer IV. No, that one fell short. No, I like using this little spot for Arty, actually. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, He's up against an Excalibur here, and the thing is, get behind that guy quick, because otherwise he is going to fill you full of lead very, very quickly. Or actually steel, but not lead. But you know what I mean. Okay, Panzer IV-H saw him and was actually aiming in his direction, didn't get off round off in time. Does a nice skid turn and comes back to try and get some more. Okay, try and use that ground to your advantage. Yes, there you are. Oh, went right over the top of the guy. That's better. Now, can you get a kill shot? No, it's not going to be a kill shot, but this one will be. Yep. And it's another kill for him. Or was it? No, it wasn't a kill for him. Oh, yes, it was a kill for him. What am I saying? It's come up now. It definitely was a kill for him. Panzer IV-H. The other one that he saw earlier, no, it was just a sliver of the turret that he was seeing. He's on 3 kills. There's only, well, there's 7 enemies out there, so he can still do a big game. There goes that Panzer IV-H, taken out by our AMX-13AM. Okay. Now, one of the great things about the Cromwell was it was incredibly fast, 64 kilometers an hour. In fact, actually, if I remember correctly, it could go faster than that. That's just the speed that Wargaming have actually given it for the game. Now, it was a medium tank. It was a specific design that was produced earlier than... one shots into the Su-85I, the Soviet version of the Stug, made from captured Stugs. Nice shot into the 25 TP. Now, that guy hit him earlier in the game, remember, but only bounced around off him. Now he's going to town on this guy, and this guy really can't see him, and that's why he's in so much trouble. And he's got that kill, so that's 5 kills now. There's an Arty in sight. It's the M41. He can kill this guy. Oh, kill steal. P43 got the kill steal. There's still 3 enemies out there, and potentially he's got 20% of the enemy hit pool, which means he's on for a high caliber. Now, is he going to go through the gates? Yep. Okay, now, 2 of those tanks are supposedly over the other side of the battlefield. In fact, I think all 3 of them are over the other side of the battlefield. One of them's that T-3485M, and he would rather like to get that. Then the other one's that 555C, who also fired in his direction. And of course the last one is that M4A1 FL10. I don't think there are any enemy tanks over this side. They're talking about the enemy in chat. Campers trying to stay alive. I think he's referring to their own team actually, rather than... Oh no, they are referring to the enemy actually. Campers trying to stay alive on the east side. Now, he's knocked these trees down to starters. There's one of them. There's the T-3485M. It looks like he's in that set of houses just down from the Vale. Okay, so we can shoot this guy using the bush mechanic. The first shell goes over his head, but he sees it. At least I think he reacted to it. The turret turned in this direction, and now he's gone into the dip, so he's not going to be able to get that guy unless he moves. No, he's not going to get that guy. RT-3485 got him, but there's the 555C. Locks on all-terrain. Try to get him. Oh, yes! Top Gun! 121 hit points. The shell went into the engine bay. The guy was gone. That means there's only one left, and it is the nuisance tank, the FL10, and he's round the corner. The thing is that I'm afraid he's only got enough hit points, well, to cap out. He can't go round and engage that M4A1, because if he tries, he's more than likely going to get taken out. So the best thing he can do for the moment is stay here in these bushes, in the pops, because if he tries to move further over to the east, the M4A1 could have relocated and could be waiting for him. But if he does get down there, he can try and stop the FL10 from coming up to reset a cap, or coming around the corner to reset a cap. I have the feeling that he's actually trying to relocate to get to a better position. Oh! Of all the 2 tanks that will collide, thank goodness there's no team damage, because if he had actually run into that guy and there was team damage, I think that would have killed the AMX-13AM. And that guy has been useful so far, even though he actually did get a kill steal. Okay, that P-43 is in a pretty bad state as well. Somebody lost their turret in a very big way there. The turret was a long way away from the tank. I have the feeling he's going to go all the way around so he can get back to that position where he was earlier, where he did spot the FL-10 and was able to get some shots into the guy without getting shot back. He did retreat from that position, but it was a relatively safe position to be in. No, he's going to go to a different spot. In fact, actually, he's saying to the Arty, go bait. In fact, actually, that's one of the things Arty can do under the circumstances. Get into the cap to force the FL-10 to come out of his little hiding place and make him vulnerable. Because he's going to have to get a reset. So if the AMX-13AM gets into that cap, he'll force them to come. And I've done that myself on many occasions where I've said, I'll act as bait and you take him out when he comes, but it didn't work out that way because my teammates didn't understand that, yes, I'm an Arty and I was willing to sacrifice myself in order to force the enemy to expose themselves and be taken down. Well, the AMX-13's just gone into the copse and Mine's trying to spot them. There, he's found him! He's found him! Now, he's got no shots, but we know where he is, and whilst he's in that position, our teammates are starting to get rounds into him, dialing in. Only a sliver of his hull available. Oh, now he's told the FL-10 there's somebody behind him. Now, he's gone up to these heights area. Now, you can shoot the enemy, but they might be able to see you if they've got good enough view range. And that looked like it hit something. That didn't. That exploded in distance. His first shot looked like it did hit something because it just disappeared without an explosion at the other end. Trouble is, the FL-10 now knows he's here. Now there is a spot where you can stay there. Oh, this is dangerous. This is dangerous, and he is looking this way. One shot in, kill shot. Wins the game. Nicely done, my Sakurajima. Let's have a look at the second replay. The second replay is on the north spawn of Erlenberg. Game on. Well, you can see Mai has got 3 marks of excellence on the barrel of his Cromwell. It's a very, very good tank actually. It's well worth getting even if you're going to be taking part in skirmishes, because it does have considerable speed, 64 kilometers an hour. And so it's definitely worth it. The 75mm gun is also very, very good, very reliable. Now the Cromwell's powered, as I mentioned, or may have mentioned, I'm not sure if I did, by a Meteor engine. That's the D-rated version of the Merlin that powered the Spitfires. It's a V12 engine, generating 600 horsepower, and letting the AMD 178B go first. He spotted a Renegade. Get shots on this guy. Rather OP American tank. Yep, there we go. Nice one, right into the side for 130, which is a low roll. Remember, the alpha on these shells is 135. Now again, he started off using the premium ammo right from the start to get decent penetration. Now the British tankers were not too happy when they finally saw the Cromwell, mainly because there's so many flat surfaces on the front of the vehicle. You could just make out the Renegade's ammunition bustle. Turning his gun this way. He's looking to get a shot from you. Yep. Yeah, all the flat surfaces on the front of a Cromwell, really, really dangerous, because it made it easier for the Germans to penetrate the frontal armour. So they were not too happy about that, because they knew angled armour would be so much better. But unfortunately, the designers, who actually started work on the Cromwell way back in 1940, after the failure of Dunkirk, and Oh, he's been spotted. Oh, and he's been hit by a Schwarzpanzer in the tree line down the south end of the map. But that was a 90mm round, went right up his rear. Yeah, you can see where it hit. It's just above the air ducts. Now, when they designed the Cromwell, the Merlin engine had, or Meteor engine rather, was generating huge amounts of heat. So they had to put air ducts in with vents and fans to actually cool the engine, because it was air cooled, the engine. They had tremendous problem with the heat dissipation on the Covenanter, which led to the weird system of having the radiators at the front of the vehicle under armour cover instead of at the rear. And so they had two ducted fans, and although they're not shown in the model, but they actually did have those fans on the back, and that helped cool the engine down and stop it from burning up. Had a lot of trouble with the Crusader tanks in the desert simply because they couldn't get rid of the heat. Looks like mine's going to go the opposite side. He's got a Challenger for support. There's the AMD he saw earlier. Managed to get across here without that Schwarzpanzer having a go at him. Get across without the Schwarzpanzer getting another 90mm round into it. It'd be better if the AMD 178B went a quick run forward, and that might actually give him shots on the Schwarzpanzer to take him out. They can't see him. Okay, the AMD's going. He's decided to go as well. Okay, well, that gives two targets for the Schwarzpanzer to shoot at, but it means there's a 50% chance he'll aim at you rather than the other guy. And they found the Schwarzpanzer. And, oh, it's the side of him, but he fired the snapshot back. Gets another one into his turret. Okay, so he now knows where we are. Might be a good idea to go round the corner and try and get him from an angle, but he's using the bush mechanic and the ridgeline. And, oh, takes an Arty round. The GW Panther hits a sneer with the tracks. But he does get another round into the Schwarzpanzer, who's now fairly low on health. If the AMD can hassle him from a different direction, we can catch him in the crossfire, and that's going to be curtains for him. He's trying to use the bush mechanic using the trees. There he is, there he is. Okay, go for it. Auto aim's on. He's firing rounds into the guy. He can't see where we are, but well, we can see him, and there he goes. And that's his first kill. Got an enemy EDR trying to escape there, I think. Or is he coming towards us? No, it's coming towards us, and there's the GW Panther. One shot in. Can he go for the second? No, because his teammate in the M44 takes him out. Okay, the EBR's still there. He's coming towards us. One shot! So he's got his second kill. He only had 9 hit points anyway, but it was useful. Okay, now the enemy is in trouble because there's 6 tanks down now. We've got other tanks coming in from the other side. Oh, heavy tank number 6. Now, the thing is, the Cromwell would never try to engage a Tiger tank if it could afford to, simply because the gun wasn't good enough to take on and kill Tigers unless he could hit them in the right spot, right up the rear. I think that heavy tank number 6 was actually facing away from us. Okay. Got a Scorpion G. Now he's the other side of that building. That, oh, there he is. Got him. Maybe 2. Oh, he's going to use the window. Smart move. This is only a narrow spot where the KV2 can fire back, and that is an ROI. He missed his shot, so he's blown it. Go for the boobies, or try and hit the side of the vehicle, and he gets the kill shot. He's using standard ammo now, actually, as well. Oh, KV2's looking this way, but he's got the side of a Chrysler K. He should be able to pen that. Gets one in. There's the KV2. Yes, gets the side of the turret, so he's got another kill. 4 kills now. There's only one enemy left, so he's not going to get a top gun in this game. But he might be able to get that Chrysler, and there's a patrol duty for him. He's got the rear of the Chrysler now, pumps one in. Can he get the kill? No, because the Challenger does it instead. And he does a nice sliding turn at the end. And that's game. And here's the end of battle results for both games. And in the first one on Redshire, my Sakurajima managed to get an ace tanker in the Cromwell B. He got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, and a fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And he also got a bruised medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 8 in total. He also got 2 battle hero medals. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. He ended up with 7 at the end. And his win rate from that game was 11,585, which is Super Unicum standard and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at team score and see where he stood. Well, we can see he's top of the table with 2,832 hit points. The only person who was anywhere near him was the IKV-65-2 on his own team, who managed to get a Confederate and 2,167 hit points, and a 555C on the enemy team with 2,060. Yes, he was enjoying that lane position, which was enabling him to shoot up on anyone who's coming from the Zeppelin direction, and also occupying that bush, which is very powerful in the north of Redshire, which enables you to shoot in just about any direction and take out enemy tanks. When it came to kills, again, it's Mai who managed to get 7 kills. 3 kills went to the 555C and their T3485M, and 2 kills went to the IKV-65-2, the VK3601H, and that FL10. Yes, they're very dangerous, those things. And when it came to base XP, he's got the top in that one. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,550 base experience points. 713, less than half was the amount from the IKV-65-2, and 712, one experience point less for the M10 RBFM, and he also got a Confederate in that game. Mai fired 42 rounds of 75mm ammunition, got 27 direct hits and 24 penetrations. Damage of 2,832 hit points, of which 1,426 were at more than 300 meters. So half his damage was actually done at long range, using spots from other people to actually do it, and of course also using the bush mechanic to make sure that he was safe in the process. 8 hits received from the enemy, yeah, 5 penetrations, 3 of which actually came at him from that FL10, who was picking a position, another overpowered position in the north end of Redshire, which allows people to shoot up at the Zeppelin alley with impunity. But of course that area is a bit of a trap. You go to that spot and try to shoot up at the Zeppelins, and the enemy pushes forward. You've got nowhere to run to because you have to go forward towards them in order to escape that little area. So there should be advisories warning people about taking that position. He also got 3 non-penetrations during that game as well, and no hits by splash. He blocked damage of 355 hit points in total. 5 enemy vehicles were spotted, 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 7 killed, and 1,184 hit points of spotting assist during the game. He earned 75,518 credits on a premium account, got 37,759 from personal reserves, 65,000 for completing a mission. So his grand total was 178,276 credits altogether. It's a very nice total. And after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, and even though he fired a lot of premium ammo in that game, he still ended out on top to the tune of 83,395 credits. Well, I suppose you could say if you take off the 65,000, then, because of course it was a mission completion, then he would have much less than that. But the fact of the matter is, he still did incredibly well. It would have been just under 18,000 in terms of, or just over 18,000 in terms of actual earnings, so long as he had the personal reserves. If he didn't have the personal reserves running, he would have made a loss for sure. 25 bonds, he must have completed another mission. 2,325 XP, 698 for this being a premium vehicle, a personal reserves of 2,325 as well, so he took away 5,348 experience points altogether. He said it was an awesome Cromwell B game. Yes, it certainly was, and he did incredibly well. But this was a game on the 27th of March. What was the next one? That was the Erlenberg game. Let's have a look. That was 3 days later, and it's another ace tanker for Mai in the Cromwell B. This time round he got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He didn't get a top gun, he only got 4, and he also got a 5 for effect for doing more damage to hit points to his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 5 exactly. And in this one he also got a Lever Slayer's medal, and that's because he took down 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers at least 1 tier higher than himself in that game. And yes, he took down a Schwarzpanzer 58, that was higher tier than him, and the EBR Hotchkiss, that was higher tier than him as well. So well done in getting those 2, because it got you another medal. His win rate wasn't quite as high in this one, 7,295, but it is slightly more difficult to get damage on the enemy on the Erlenberg map because of the way that the battlefield is structured. Once he got to conquer the castle and actually, got that position nicely, he had to deal with that Schwarzpanzer in the tree line because he couldn't move forward. Other than that, and of course his teammates were doing rather well on the other side of the map as well, which meant of course they then cleared up everything that was in the on either side of the map, and they just had to deal with the central area in the town. And he did that very well as well by taking out the OI and then taking out the KV2. Let's have a look at the team score. 2,201 hit points of damage. This time round he was beaten by the Chrysler K on damage. He got 2,222, so 21 hit points more than mine managed to get in that game. That's unfortunate, but there you go, it did happen. The thing is that he didn't get the high caliber either, simply because he didn't have 20% of the enemy hit pool, so neither of them would have actually got it. When it came to kills, he shared the top spot with the SU-130PM. They both managed to get 4 kills each. And the next high score after that was the Chrysler K on the enemy team with 3. And when it came to base XP, he's got the top because he was tier 6 in a tier 8 game. And of course then he was monstering those enemy tanks by dealing damage to them, even the tier 8 ones. And of course getting extra XP for every shot that hit the target. 1,496 for my 718 went to the AMX 1357F, that's the grand final version, and also, at least I think it is, 693 went to the Challenger, and after that the other Challenger managed 689, so they were very close together, those guys. When it came to the details, he fired only 25 rounds in this game, 20 direct hits, a lot more accuracy, and 19 penetrations. Damage of 2,201 hit points, of which 133 were at more than 300 meters, so a lot more of the shots were at close range in this game. 2 hits received, both penetrations. One of those actually came from the Schwarzpanzer, who managed to shoot a round right up his rear. Unfortunate that. In fact, I think the other one also came from the Schwarzpanzer as well. 1 hit by way of splash damage in the game, 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and 1,853 hit points of spotting assist in this one. On a premium count, he earned 71,859 credits, got 50,000 credits for completing the mission again. I think that was probably the first win of the day. Total of 121,859 credits altogether. After repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he took away 53,205 credits, and the reason for that was these consumables were rather expensive. Even though he was firing a lot of APCR, it was the consumables that really cost him. He did switch to standard rounds later on in the battle. Even though he was only firing standard rounds with reduced pen, he was still getting pens on tier 8 tanks with those rounds. So it just goes to show that sometimes firing standard ammo, even though you get the occasional bounce or miss, can still be worthwhile. After all, Mai has got 3 marks on his barrel. He doesn't really need to fire the premium ammo. I suppose he doesn't because he just wants to get a monster game, and sometimes getting a monster game does mean you have to spam the APCR or the heat, at least the premium rounds, just to get the penetration. He earned 2,244 experience points from this game, times 2 for the first victory, 673 for but this being a bonus vehicle, a premium vehicle, and he also got 5,161 experience points altogether, and he enjoyed that game. It was more a bit of a fun for him, and it was a lot less of a puzzle for him to actually prosecute that game, because after all, his teammates had actually done a lot of the work on the other side, so he wasn't required to then go after the other troublesome tanks, and he just managed to pick off some targets of opportunity along the way. So I hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.